Well, I have made it to day 13 of the elemental diet. I am using Dr. Ruscio's low-carb formula, and then I'm also using his whey-free peach, and it's been going well. I've had minimal bloating, like hardly at all, and minimal pain. Just a couple days I had some pain, but it wasn't anything like before I started on the elemental diet. So I was planning on going 3 weeks, but my shipment of product has not come in. It's delayed or it's lost or something. So I am going to wrap up, I guess, in a couple days. I wasn't ready. I'm not ready at all. So today I just have mostly the whey-free peach left, and I'm gonna be just chugging it today and hopefully tomorrow, and then maybe start some bone broth tomorrow or some chicken stock tomorrow. One or the other, I'll have to figure it out. Like I said, I wasn't really at this stage, I wasn't ready, so but I will get some broth going either way just to prepare. I can always freeze it, and in case that order comes in today, I hope it does, because I really wanted to go one more week on this and just give it. My doctor and I talked about, my naturopathic doctor and I talked about going 3 weeks would be good for me, just to really give my gut time to heal and recover. So hopefully it comes in today, so I can keep going, but if not, I will be prepared with the broth that I'm going to make today. So I just put a couple chickens into the Instapot to cook on slow cook, and then I just added some Himalayan salt, and that is all I put in there. Usually when I make my broth, I want to put in chilies, green chilies, salt, pepper, maybe some cayenne pepper. I want to put in onions and garlic and celery, carrots, just like everything I can in there, just to make it the most like tasty broth, and lots of cilantro or herbs. But I don't know what to do. Like, I don't know if, I mean, can I put cilantro in there? Can I put carrots and celery? I know celery is not a low FODMAP food, and then that's kind of what I'm going to be transitioning into, is the low FODMAP diet, and just stick with that while I transition. So I know I can't use celery, but I'm just playing it super safe and just adding salt to my chicken soup broth, I guess. So hopefully it'll be good. So as I've mentioned in my previous videos, I've been on this health struggle for the last 10 years. Actually it's been about 12 years, where I started reacting to food and bloating and having chronic pain and bloating. It started off where I just gave up gluten, and that helped, and then I gave up dairy, and then I had to give up grains, and throughout the 10 years I kept getting diagnosed with more and more health issues, and I noticed that food was just a huge trigger for most of these health issues. So I ended up sticking with more of a paleo diet, and then I tried keto, I tried the specific carbohydrate diet, and trying to just eliminate all the food groups, and then just adding in, like, just doing the SCD diet and just adding in one food at a time. And that helped a lot. The less food I eat, the better I feel. But as you know, going through life is all about food, right? Like, you go out to eat, you go out with friends, and every celebration, every food just surrounds you. So I would get frustrated being on a limited diet, and then I would eat, and then I'd go back into this whole thing and be in pain. And so it was almost like I didn't learn, I guess, but at the same time, I knew that something wasn't right, that life shouldn't be where I'm completely restricted to like 5 foods. You know, I know that, I mean, I look around and I see other people are eating. So I've just been on this journey to seek healing and to figure out, to get to the root of what is wrong and why can't I eat these foods? Why can't I just eat what everybody else can eat? And what can I do to just kind of improve my health overall? So, I mean, not just my gut, but I know that everything starts in my gut. So that's been my main focus. But I've also had a lot of like arthritis and joint pain, and I've been diagnosed with rheumatoid arthritis, but nothing shows up in my blood work. So I'm not sure what is what really, you know? So lately, the reason why I started the elemental diet is because it got to the point where I couldn't eat fruit, I couldn't eat a lot of vegetables. Like, I even went to my naturopath and I said, hey, is there a chance that I could be intolerant to like all carbs? Like literally all carbs, because I can't eat carbs. My body reacts, I get bloated, I start getting joint pain, I get pain in my stomach, and I also started having some esophagus issues as well. And then I developed like a chronic cough. So I was diagnosed with silent reflux based on the findings of my colonoscopy and endoscopy. My naturopath was like, you probably have SIBO. So she sent me to the gastroenterologist to get SIBO tested, and he did not want to do that because of COVID. So he said it's a breath thing, you have to breathe into a tube or something. He's like, so we don't do it, or we will do it as a last resort. So he kind of wasn't really willing to give me a SIBO test, but I mean, all my symptoms fit the bill. So I just figured that I would, instead of spending money on a SIBO test, I would put the money towards the elemental diet, and that is how the journey began. So that is how I got here. Spoke to a dietitian before I started this, and she said she was questioning why I was trying to aim for a low FODMAP diet. And when I told her that is basically anything with sugar in it upsets me or I react to, she said, okay, yes, absolutely. So do the elemental diet. And she said, then we will transition you into the low FODMAP diet. And then we can start, you know, get you settled on that, and then start, you know, challenging some foods later on. So that is where I'm at. So I was hoping to do one more week on the elemental diet, but I'm making my chicken broth to hopefully start maybe tomorrow night or Tuesday, if I can make my elemental powder stretch a little longer. So, and hopefully if I get my order in, I can go one more week and then start this, and I can just freeze the broth and it'll be good. So that is my journey, to sum it up. Hoping that as I move forward and I add food in one at a time, I can sort of develop a better relationship with food, because after dealing with this for 12 years, it's definitely a love-hate relationship with food. I love food, like I'm a total food person, but I suffer the consequences when I eat something, and then if I don't and I stick to the foods that I know are okay, then I get frustrated and bored. And it becomes a challenge, like socially. Like I don't go out with friends, or I don't hang out. It's been, you know, I try to steer clear of any kind of social food engagement type thing, because it's just not fun. I see all this food and I either eat it and then I'm in pain, or I don't eat it and then I feel deprived. So hopefully going into this reintroduction phase, I can just build a better relationship with food and just really, you know, change my mindset about food and grow to think of food as my friend. I know that sounds kind of cheesy, but that way, I mean, it's just instead of my enemy. So that's where I'm at, and that's what I'm hoping for. So on day 13 of my elemental diet journey, and sitting out here with the baby goats, letting them run around, and I'm just thinking about how when I first started this journey, I was expecting to be sick the whole time. I was expecting die-off symptoms, and I was expecting a lot of blood sugar issues, and I almost let that stop me. So I almost didn't do it because I didn't want to feel crappy for 2 weeks or 3 weeks. And if you're thinking about doing the elemental diet, then I wouldn't let any of that stuff, anything you read or hear, stop you, because I didn't have any of those, I didn't have that kind of an experience at all. Like, I almost feel like I was just more awake and alert and had a lot more energy. I feel great. Like, for the most part, I felt so good while I've been on the elemental diet. So if you feel like you're nervous to try it or nervous to start it, I would just say go for it, because you just never know. I almost let those fears stop me, and if I had, then I wouldn't even have experienced this whole journey. And I feel like there's a lot of healing has occurred even in the 2 weeks. Even though I didn't make it to 3 weeks, I feel like the 2 weeks that I have been on it, I've been able to heal a lot, because I mean, I haven't felt the digestive symptoms. I haven't felt any of the symptoms that I was having in my esophagus. I just feel so good. And it's just really helped me also to not run to food for everything. Like, before, I used food for everything, like for comfort, for when I was bored. What can I snack on? Oh, even if it was just like the few foods I knew were safe, I knew that I could eat, I would use food just to fill in the gaps, to fill in the time. And since I started the elemental diet, I've had to look for other ways to, fill my boredom or fill my time. If I feel like I get an urge to snack, or I want food, but I'm not necessarily hungry, there's so many things that I've experienced that I can do instead of eating. So that was a really good discovery. I really needed to learn that. I really needed to look towards other things to fill my time and fill my thoughts and fill my boredom, I guess. So it's been a good experience. So if you're hesitating, I would just say go for it, because even if you do it for a week, that's better than not trying it at all, So I'd say go for it, because for me, I'm really glad that I did, and I'm really glad that I was able to do this and get this far. So it's pretty cool.